Yo, what's up guys, it's Jack and welcome back. And the topic of today's video is inspired by the Korean Savage. And for those of you guys that don't know who he is, in my opinion, the world's best hardcore player. And on top of that, he's been topping leaderboards since Advanced Warfare, and he's become, recently on YouTube here, he's become very successful, been growing very fast. And, you know, he's been working really, really hard at it, and he's an amazing player. So I highly recommend you guys check him out, so I'll leave a link down in the description below. But as of recently, he made a video to where he's basically kind of lost in life, and obviously things happen, and at the same time, you know, sometimes we just have this, sometimes we're really, really tough on ourselves on top of that, because we have this moral standard about ourselves and things that we should do and we shouldn't do, and sometimes it's really, really hard to forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we make, whether it's in the past or in the present. But one thing I wanted to say is that it's okay to not only make mistakes because you're perfect and you're not, you know, it's not about us being perfect. As a matter of fact, even though we strive to achieve the image of perfection, it's inhuman to be perfect because we're meant to make mistakes. So that way we can learn from our mistakes, and so that way we can better ourselves from it. And at the same time, if you think about it, if you want to go even deeper, it keeps things interesting. And for those of you guys that don't know, I used to teach martial arts. And I was responsible for many, many people when I was teaching it. And basically when I look at it is when I was teaching, I was basically helping people. But I had to go through training, I had to go through all these different things and experience to a certain extent in order to qualify to start teaching people as well. And I had to pass tests and all that kind of stuff. And the same thing kind of goes in life. And the thing is, like, if you can relate to something, you know, the least you can do when you see somebody that is down and can relate to you in the subject, and the least you can do is try to help them out a little bit, give them a little bit of courage, because quite frankly, there's no reason why this problem can't be solved. And Korean, first and foremost, when you mentioned about money not being money and success to that degree, or related to money, is not going to make you happy, that is absolutely true. It's only a temporary solution, and eventually, after you do all the things you want to do with your money, you just end up going back to square one again, basically, in terms of how you feel mentally. Especially if you don't use that money the right way in order to kind of help yourself. Now, again, it can only do so much, you know, and if used improperly, it could end up being really bad. And if used properly, you can use it to enhance it. But ultimately, one of the things that I always used to tell students is that it's not about achieving perfection. It's about improvement. So whatever you do, it's about getting better at it instead of perfecting it. And it's all about taking baby steps. And the thing is, balance is important. Now, why is balance important? Because, well, you are who you are. Everybody is who they are. And the thing is, you're going to be who you are no matter what. But in realizing what your strengths and weaknesses are, you can start to improve off of them. And it's about baby steps. So many people end up tripping and falling on their face, and it seems like there's no end to it, simply because they try to get back into it so fast, and they go full on and nonstop, and they don't really give themselves time to adapt and to kind of, you know, they just don't give themselves time. And the thing is, it's all about taking those little baby steps. It's not like about doing one thing and then just doing it to the max and there you go. This is not exactly the case here. This is a little bit something different. And in some ways it's comparable to working out. And the thing is, sometimes if you haven't worked out in a while, it's not necessarily wise to go on full force like you did, like right before you stop, because you can injure yourself. You can get so tired that you won't even want to do it again the next day. It could be discouraging, so it could easily backfire. And the same thing applies here. It's all about taking baby steps to put yourself back into balance. All you have to do is just change one little aspect, one little thing, and spend a little bit of time with it. And you can do this daily or every other day or whatnot, and eventually you can build off of that, and then you can slowly but surely build yourself back up again, because that's basically what it is. It's very similar. Like, I'm gonna give you an example, okay? Now, physical challenges and mental challenges are linked in many ways. So I'm gonna give you guys a nice little physical challenge. I once had a student that had a very common problem, and that is that they had a they were really good with kicking with the right leg, but their left leg was suffering in comparison. So they needed to balance themselves out. So what I told them was, okay, every single time we do a kicking drill, I want you on your own to add 10 extra kicks to your left. And eventually, within time, that 10 is going to turn into a 20. The 20 is going to turn into a 30, and so on and so forth. And eventually, you will put in all this extra time on your left that eventually your left kick is going to end up being very strong. And you never know, maybe even stronger than your right. So this is the same kind of mentality and steps that someone can take in order to help put themselves back into balance. And whether it's mental or physical or both, and like I said, they're linked, it's something that can truly make the difference. And the thing is, sometimes in life, as I mentioned before, sometimes we are our hardest critics, and because of where you stand morally, sometimes when you make a mistake in the past in life, it's really hard to forgive yourself. I can relate to that tremendously, especially when it comes to what my personal beliefs are and what I stand for. But remember, we are human, and with some time, and with taking like those little baby steps, like I mentioned earlier, with time and taking those little baby steps, you can actually work towards making yourself better and forgiving yourself, because sadly, there's nothing really we can do about the past. There really isn't. But all we can do is make the future better. And in my opinion, in my humble opinion, and I truly believe this, not because I'm saying it or because I think my word is anything special over anybody else's. No. But in my opinion, and I'm sure, and hopefully most of you will agree, and is that if somebody tries to improve upon themselves, whether it's just mentally or physically, trying to put themselves back in the balance, or just trying to improve upon their weaknesses in any way, shape, or form, even if it means working on trying to forgive themselves for mistakes that they've made in the past, whether they're small or large, whatever the case may be, if they're trying to improve themselves, and even if they just go on to mention that they've made mistakes, in my opinion, that person deserves the utmost respect, because they're mentioning it first and foremost. Okay, they're saying, look, I'm not perfect, I'm not this, I'm not that, I can't, it's really hard for me to forgive myself, and at the same time I'm trying to work on it, or I'm taking steps to work on it, and they're doing it. I mean, there are so many people that don't even take the initiative to do that, or a lot of people, and there are people out there that also don't even realize it and don't even talk about it, and they just have this they don't have the humility to even talk about it. So that in and of itself not just tells me something about the person that is talking about it, but it also gives me the utmost respect. And the fact that if they take the initiative, if somebody out there, it could be anybody, taking the initiative to just work on it and work on themselves, that person deserves the respect. And on top of that, every single person has the ability to do it. Everybody does. No matter how shitty life gets, everybody's got the ability to do it. And that's a fact. The only thing is sometimes it's hard, and it absolutely is, no doubt about it. But again, baby steps makes it easier, and baby steps is the practical way to do it for reasons I explained earlier. And the thing is that with time, and you will be able to forgive yourself. And this is for anybody and everybody. It truly is, and it really does work. And it's something that will bring you inner peace with yourself. And I'm sure there are other people down in the comment section that have had similar experiences. Everybody's had their trials and their tribulations. But one thing that I've learned is that balance is everything. Being who you are is perfectly fine. And doing what you love to do is perfectly fine. But as long as you have that balance in your life, you can be great. And that's basically what it's all about. So, and I cannot tell you how much I relate. So I wanted to basically make this video in order to kind of give courage, maybe some words of comfort, and even some ways to, to people that are struggling with this. And when Korean made that video, I wanted to start making this video right away, because not only can I relate, but if I can do something to help somebody, and if I'm in the power to do it, then I'm going to do it. And that's one thing that Dad always used to say to me, rest his soul. He used to say, you know, if you're in a position to help somebody, then do it. And again, the only reason why I'm not putting this video on private or anything is because I feel that a lot of people have similar situations going on, and myself included, obviously, and nobody's immune. And I felt that this could help many people. Otherwise, it would just be for Korean to see, and you know. And the thing is, Korean also is that you've, through time, and I've seen a lot of your content, through time, you've shown also, if you don't believe me, you've shown that you are very capable of doing this. Because if somebody can grow as fast as you've grown in a short period of time, and do the things that you've done, that you've accomplished on YouTube, as well as Call of Duty and all those kind of things, and you worked your ass off to do it, no doubt about it. So taking baby steps in order to bring yourself back into balance should be no problem. Now, granted, getting on that wagon could be a little bit difficult, especially when life brings you down due to situational things that happen, which I completely relate and understand. But eventually, the important thing is that you get that we get back on the tracks again, and then victory is absolutely inevitable, as I like to say. So there's absolutely, you know, and anybody and everybody can do this, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because it's something really close, something personal to me. It's something that when one of the people that I follow, I saw was struggling with something, that I couldn't help but say something and to try to help that person. And like I said before, like Dad used to say, if you're in a position to help somebody, you help them. And it really is as simple as that. So, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'm out of time. For those of you guys that watch this, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the commentary, and I hope this helped anybody out that is struggling in any way, shape, or form. And it really does make the biggest difference. With a little bit, if we just apply ourselves a little bit in one thing, that little something can turn into something big, which will eventually turn into something amazing. So, but that's what I want to talk about in this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the commentary. I hope this helped you out. And please, as always, let any comments you guys want to make, let it down below. And if you liked my video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.